Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Katya and I'm currently living in Germany and I'm learning German, of course. And today I want to tell you my story about how I learned German for almost 10 years and I still can't speak it properly. So if you are learning German and you are interested in my story, keep watching. So it's not a clickbait, I'm really learning German for 10 years already, because I actually started to learn German in high school. It was obligatory to choose a second foreign language while studying high school, and we were giving just two options. It could be German or it could be French. And for me, it was not really an option. I wanted to learn only German. I wasn't interested in learning French. It wasn't like, as I said, it wasn't even an option for me because I wanted to learn German, even I don't know why, but I was so intrigued and fascinated by the opportunity to know one more foreign language, especially German, because I always thought that German is cool. So I chose German and started learning German. And actually, almost all my classmates also were choosing German, but honestly, they didn't really want to learn any foreign language. There just was this obligation that you have to choose language that you will learn. It's not like they were really interested in learning one more language, because while living and studying in Latvia in school, we had Latvian and Russian as our, let's say, native languages, and then we had to learn English as our first foreign language. And for many of my classmates it was enough, and some of my classmates also planned to go abroad, to move to England and Ireland, I don't know, and study there and live there, and they are actually still living there in England. So yeah, but for the others it wasn't really an option. I think I had just one classmate who knew German like properly. She could speak it, and she is now living also in Germany. So yeah, this was like one person from all the class. Yeah, and others, they were not really interested in learning any other foreign language, and some of my classmates haven't also learned English properly, you know. It's of course depends from the person. So yeah, but I was totally for it and I wanted to learn German. So yeah, most of our classmates were put in the group of German. I don't know why, maybe because there were always problems with the French teacher. Don't know why, but yeah. So for the first year of studying German in school, it was just like a perfect year. Like, I was totally satisfied with the results because we had 2 lessons per week, and yeah, it was enough to learn something and to revise something, and it was during 1 week. So it's not like you try to learn something and then until the next week you just forget everything and you don't have enough of the homework, because you know, if the lesson is just once a week, so there probably won't be any big test to check your knowledge. It just, you know, we usually had like English 4 times a week, Russian also 3 or 4 times a week, Latvian 5 or 6 hours a week, and then just second foreign language 1 lesson a week. Of course it wasn't enough, but for the first year we had 2 lessons, as I said, and I was totally satisfied. And I'd say that my basic knowledge of German I got in the high school, and I also got this passion to learn German. I just basically fell in love, and I was happy that I had the possibility to learn German for free at school, and we had a teacher. So we learned just basic things like some basic vocabulary about family, about home, about the house. Also days of the week, schedule, because we were learning in the school, so it was important. So We also tried like a little bit of conversation, but you know, it was like just teacher asks you a question and then you just answer the answer that you see in the textbook because you know nothing else. So yeah, how it usually starts when you just decided to learn a new language. So yeah, that was pretty funny, but as I said, I totally appreciated the opportunity to learn German at school, and I was always waiting for the next week to start to learn German, because if I'm not mistaken, the first year of high school, it was like the first lesson from the morning on Monday. Great start of the week. So yeah, I totally enjoyed it, and I had the most beautiful notebook for taking notes in German compared to other school subjects. So yeah, you can say I really like the idea of learning German at school. And then, starting with the second year of high school, we have overall 3 years of high school in Latvia. So it's like 10th, 11th and 12th grade. So yeah, both 11th and 12th grade were just super disappointing for me, because we actually had just one lesson a week of German, and this one lesson was the last lesson on Friday, and it often got cancelled. So imagine it's like just the last lesson of the week. Everyone is super tired already, and one part of the class just don't want to do anything. Another part of the class already started to plan what they will do on the weekend. Yeah, and also our teacher, who was sometimes sick, and sometimes she had another plans, I don't know, because she worked also in another place with another students. So as I said, lesson was often cancelled, and I was disappointed because I really liked German lessons. And then finally, when we had a German lesson, we would start out of the nowhere some, I don't know, topic we never started. We never learned the vocabulary or grammar or anything else. It was like just out of the nowhere some kind, I don't know, maybe a teacher just took a look in the plan of the lessons, and then okay, it's December, so this week we should probably start learning that, but the previous weeks there was no lessons. So yeah, so as you understand, I learned nothing during the 2 years of my high school. So during the first year I learned a lot of the basics, and then just 2 wasted years. And of course we already started to prepare for the exams, because of course almost all of the students planned to go to some kind of universities, and in my case I planned to go to the medical university. So I had extra lessons to prepare in the biology and in chemistry. So yeah, I learned a lot those subjects. So I was not paying that much attention to my desire to learn German, and of course I accepted everything how it happened, because of course I needed to prepare carefully, thoroughly to my state exams. And of course we also had state exam in Latvian and in English, and of course learning English was more important that time, because I don't know, I don't remember, but I think it also counted in the process of getting into university. So we had state exam results and we submitted them, and I think English also counted as one of the subjects that's important to you to get your place in the university. So I wasn't paying any attention to German more than it was given to us, and we were almost not given an opportunity to learn German, because yeah, there was almost no lesson. So sad story. And then I got into university, in the medical school, more specifically in the dentistry school. So many of you can imagine what does it mean studying in the medical school, and maybe some of you also studied in medical school, so you know that first 2 years of medical school you can just cross from your life. So like they haven't even existed, because for the first year I was just studying. And I remember that sometimes I called my parents and my relatives and I said, yeah, we all been through it, we know it's hard, but actually no one from them was ever going to the medical school, to the dental school, and everybody said that we all been through this. Okay, let's not talk about it. So I just stayed at home, and my family, my parents, they were always wondering why I am staying at home. Every time that we were talking on the phone, I was saying that no, I haven't left the house. I go grocery shopping just once a week or twice a week after my lessons in university, because I don't have time. So basically I had no time for learning anything except the things that I needed to learn, anatomy, physiology and chemistry and histology and other stuff. And to be honest, I also didn't have enough time for that to learn everything properly. So yeah, and somewhere approximately in the third year of university, I remembered that I wanted to learn German. Yeah, I remember that I wanted to learn German. Actually, at the last year of high school, I switched to Spanish. I don't know why, I just watched football that time and I thought that understanding Spanish would be cool, because I watched a lot of Spanish teams playing. I just started learning Spanish and never continued and never finished. So yeah, and at the third year approximately, I remember that I learned German, and I started to learn German through the apps on my phone, and I started using Duolingo because it was free and I was a broke student. Yeah, I started learning, and I decided that I will exercise every day for just a few minutes. So I had a strike on this app for more than 600 days. Like, I exercised on this app straight 600 days in a row. That it's almost 2 years. And as you can imagine, I was totally proud of myself. I was really proud of myself, and I was happy that I am so, let's say, dedicated, that I exercised it every day, like just few minutes, but every day. And every day I got in touch with German, so I hear German, so I revised some words in German. So I was totally satisfied and proud of myself, even though after this 1.5 of year I still had just basic knowledge of German, because there in Duolingo, at least at that time, was a great opportunity to learn vocabulary, like some words, some expressions, but at the same time no grammar was explained. And I think for now there also are sets for grammar where you can train, exercise grammar, but there was like no grammar explained, and I was, let's say, not that interested, I think. So I never wanted to go and Google and check the grammar to see some YouTube videos. I suppose that I was just not that interested, and all I was interested in was to keep my streak. So yeah, overachiever at that moment. And then I was sometimes going back to learning German, and sometimes again I was not learning German. And in October 2020 I decided that it's finally a time that I need to go back to learn German properly, and there my big story started again. This happened because I decided that I will probably move to Germany, because at that point of time my partner already moved to Germany and already lived in Germany for a few months, and I started to acknowledge that I will probably move too sometime in the future. I had no idea when, even though of course I dreamed that after a year I would be living in Germany. So I made it. Hi, I'm here. So yeah, but I was not that optimistic at that moment, and I decided that I just have to learn language. And then I started to think that maybe I want to work as a dentist in Germany at that time in October 2020. So I knew that I need at least B2 level of German, which is kind of high level of knowledge. So I had to understand everything and know everything, and I also had to have a C1 level training, like a medical German, which is like another dimension of language. So yeah, I knew that I need to do that, and I had, let's say, limited amount of time, because I told myself that I need a year, and after a year I could do that. And of course it would be possible if I had a teacher, but at that time I was also working a lot, and I didn't want to start anything too serious because it was a pandemic and we never knew when the language schools will be opened. And then of course there were a lot of online schools. So I decided that I will start with watching grammar videos on YouTube, and I started watching grammar videos, and I started to make notes. And then I understood that I lack just the basic grammar knowledge of German, about German words, about the articles, der, die, das, about German cases, just the most simple like nominative, accusative, and this stuff. So I knew nothing. I heard these words, but in my mind it was like when I was exercising with the app, with the Duolingo, it was like, I don't know, I saw this like a more serious level of knowledge. And then when I started to watch YouTube videos, I understood that it was just the basics. Well, of course I was disappointed, and I started to learn that. And then I stumbled upon the videos of one Ukrainian guy who made, I'd say, one of the best explanatory videos of German grammatic, and he was about my age. So I understood that I want to continue learning with him, so I bought his grammar courses, which were self-placed online. I didn't buy the place with the tutor, with the teacher who will correct me like once a week for 30 minutes. So I just wanted to learn German in my free time, and I started to learn German grammar. I started with the course A1.1, and then I did A2, and also I took a grammar course B1. So I finished the grammar courses until the level B1, and then at the same time I started to add another resources to learn German. Of course, I wanted to understand so badly that I started to looking for some YouTubers who were from Germany and who had channels in German. And I also started to searching for some influencers in Instagram, and I found some girls about, let's say, my age, with approximately the same girlish interests, and I started to following them. And I was so lucky that a lot of girls on Instagram, they had daily stories, so you can listen to the language, and in the most of cases they also put subtitles. So if I do not understand something, I will just read in the subtitles and find that word. So it was really convenient, and soon I started to understand spoken German pretty good, at least those people that I saw online. And I also started to watch German news, German TV shows, and also German music. And I started to read level appropriate books, because with that, of course, was harder. So I started to read level appropriate books, and also some articles in the internet. So yeah, and another thing that also helped me in my way was another application on the phone. So this app was not Duolingo, this time it was Busuu, and I bought a paid subscription where you can interact with the community and you can send your homework. So you have, in the end of the lesson, you have a question and you have to write a text, and you send these texts to the native speakers, and the users on Busuu usually correct your written exercise. So it was super convenient, and I was so proud of myself, because of course I had mistakes, but I just got that feeling that I can use the language, that I can, write something, that I have thoughts in my mind, and then I can use words that I already know and put them into sentences and send it to another person, and then native speaker understands me and gives me his review and shows where I have mistakes. So it was a great thing. So during this 1 year I got until the half of the B2 level in the app. Of course, it's not my real current level of German knowledge, because I haven't had enough practice and I still struggle with speaking. But yes, at least grammar, at least some vocabulary, I started to understand a lot, and it of course made a lot of difference. So yeah, this is my story of how I learned German. Of course, at the moment I continue learning German, of course, and for now I'm interested in speaking German more than ever. So I am also taking part in some intensive courses to make sure that I have no holes in the basic grammar, like in the German cases, in the topic of how to form a plural form of German nouns, and also others with adjectives, and of course with German verbs. I take an intensive courses step by step, and I am also participating in the speaking club, and I am trying to speak more, and I'm trying to get through my language barrier, because learning German by myself was really convenient. I could do it anytime and spend as much time as I wanted and use my own resources, and I could exercise on the topics that I was mostly interested in, but at the same time I had almost no speaking experience. I just had writing experience, so I built a big passive German vocabulary, so I can understand German pretty well. Of course, if we are speaking about B2, C1 and C2 levels, which are native speaker levels and linguists levels, of course, I will probably not understand everything, but if we are speaking about the daily life and most of the comments that I sometimes get in German, I understand them pretty well, and I understand almost everything. And if we are speaking about the thought that a person wanted to express, I will probably understand everything. There will be just few words that are not known by me. So yeah, I understand pretty well German, and in the most of the cases in the public places I have no problems with what people are saying to me. I understand them pretty well. There were just some situations when I couldn't really recognize just speech at all, and then I asked person to say it one more time a little bit slower, and then I understood everything. So I understand language pretty well, I'd say, because I built up this huge passive knowledge of language. And now I have to slowly transform my passive knowledge into active knowledge, because when I am in the situation when I have to speak, I start to forget words, I start to forget grammar constructions, and I start to stress a lot, and overall I am a little bit shy person, so when I have to speak, it's like a big challenge for me. So yeah, but I need to do that, and I'm working right now on that. So if you are studying German by yourself, online, or just with the books, you have to acknowledge that if you don't have a teacher or just a speaking partner with whom you communicate like on a regular basis, you will end up with the huge passive language knowledge, and you will probably struggle to transform it into active language knowledge, as I do now. But of course, I know that I will succeed in that, and I am working on that. So this is my story about how after almost 10 years after I started to learn German, I ended up with understanding German really well and still not speaking properly, but I am trying, you know. I will speak German. So this is my story for today and the result that I get until this day. Of course, I will improve myself, and after some time I'll be speaking German perfectly. I hope so. So thank you for watching. If you have questions, you are welcome to put them in the comments below. If you want to support me, press a like button and subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day and see you in the next videos. Bye!